Hi, I'm Tim from the Heresy Group. Welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about training. This is going to be my personal opinion, not the opinion of the rest of the people involved in the Heresy Group. This is going to be from me specifically. I will ask the rest of the guys that are involved to cover this at some point, but with the current trend of training videos going online, people holding training events and so on and so forth, I really wanted to chip in on this and give my opinion. It is just my opinion and it's not going to gel with all of the people that clearly watch these videos, but I do want to give it. And if you do have any feedback, any comments, questions, anything like that, just stating this now, please make sure you put them in the comments box below, whether they are positive, negative, they're aligned with what I'm saying or not. Please make sure you give that feedback. I do read all of the questions, all of the comments, so really interested in seeing what you guys have to say about this. So I guess let's start before Airsoft. For me, I've always been heavily invested in the hobbies that I have, whether that was BMXing, downhilling, surfing, whatever it may be. I've always invested time and energy into the hobby itself. So when I was downhilling, I learned how to fix my bike, I learned how to tech the bike, I learned how to change parameters and settings, tire pressures, stiffnesses on dampeners, and changing even the seat height to make my riding as performance driven as possible. Now, after a weekend of riding, a lot of the time I was a little bit battered and bruised, especially if I was riding in dirt, like stiff downhill. I'd always find that, knees, ankles, wrists would always hurt. One of the things I would then do is get myself in the gym on the cycling machine. Why would I do that? What's the point? What's the drive? And it was to, condition the muscles. It was to work harder. It was to work through fatigue. Now, this is also a mindset. Some people are going to agree with this. Some people get up and are driven every day to succeed. Some people aren't. That's just the different people that are out there in the world. I'm not saying that you need to be this 4 o'clock in the morning, Jocko Willink, badass, go out every day and crush it. But what I am saying is that it is definitely a mental process. Some people want to pick up their airsoft gear once a month, go out, shoot some people, put it down and be done with it until the following month. I feel that there is a skill set, I feel like there is a repeatability, there's a muscle memory that's involved in playing airsoft that I want to train and hone so that I can be as proficient as possible. Now, I'm no expert, I'm no guru when it comes to training, but I do have drive and I think that really helps. Whether it's running repetitive drills, any of you guys who checked out my Instagram live streams with run through drills on there and showed you some of the guys where I'm making mistakes. I've asked for your feedback and put some of my drills online for you guys to critique. Again, I'm not perfect. This is not something that I'm preaching to you about, but the training in a holistic view is kind of looked down on and I don't understand why. Now, when I did mountain bike, as I said, I was always on a cycling machine. I was doing a lot of cross trainings, I was working my arms and my back so that when I could ride, I was pushing myself as far and as hard as I could in the time that I had. Now, if you have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to focus on a hobby, you can become a world champion, you can become, a top tier athlete with time. I divide my love for airsoft and around a full-time job, family and other commitments that I have. So it's not just the fact that I'm at this 24/7. I really wish I was, and if I was, I feel like I'd be, a much better, more well-equipped, well-performing athlete or airsoft player. So that's one thing to consider is time. But I think there's such a stigma of people putting these training videos online of them, going from their primary to their secondary, and whether they've just done it once to put the video up or whether they've done it 5,000 times and they're just beginning to get where they're happy. I think that there's this kind of connotation or, again, stigma attitude towards it that's like, why is the guy bothering? What a nerd. What difference is it going to make? What I can say and what I have spoken about repeatedly across the Airsoft channel is some of my experiences where I felt that training has come into tuition. One of the key ones, there was a lot of guys there. Richie was there. This was before we were doing the Heresy group. This was the early days of kind of random trashing beginning to come online. I just transitioned from my sniper rifle over to my first M4 platforms, and this was a little bit further on than that. I don't think I had the 416. I think I was running my GMP. What I'd been practicing is just my gun dangling in front of me and just moving from that position into a kind of ready up position. There was no extensive training. I didn't go anywhere for it. I was just in the office, and what I was doing when I was on a conference call with work, or we were doing our monthly updates, which were an hour every single week, and a lot of the time you're just listening and looking over the spreadsheets. It's very easy to absorb. I would put myself on mute and I would put my plate carrier on, and over the top of that I used to run a single point sling over my left shoulder. I'd leave my weapon dangling, and then every time the clock would get round to 10 past, or I would do it on certain launch markers, I would just try and completely focus on the screen, and then when that quarter 15 seconds past marker would come, or 30 seconds past, or 45, I'd just set it in my head, wait for that to come, and then I would engage. It wasn't really about being taken by surprise, it was just the muscle memory of getting to the weapon and getting it into a ready up position. Now, the first time that this kind of scenario happened out on the field was at Apocalypse Airsoft. It was probably about 3 or 4 years ago now, it's a long time ago. We had taken over a stronghold, and one of my friends had just sparked up a fag. We were having a bit of a gas, and it's surrounded by its open ground with a tree line around it. Any of you guys from Instagram might have heard of this story before. So we're all having a gas. We've kind of won the day, as it were, in our minds. We've taken this stronghold. We're having a bit of a break before we head back to regen to find out what the next objective was. Again, everyone was relaxed. I think I had my hands in my pockets, or my hands were definitely away from the weapon, for sure. Anyway, the kind of end of round was signified by a whistle, so we just presumed that everyone had heard it, so on and so forth. Very easy for people not to hear that in dense woodland. Before anyone had even blinked, or there was 2 guys had been laid in the edge of the tree line. They'd clearly crawled in from quite a distance. They'd seen us kind of outside of the base standing talking, and decided to engage. It all happened very, very quickly. I'm facing the guys that are coming in, and then there's a group of my friends standing sort of a huddle that have their back to them. As the guys have gone to stand from their kind of prone, kneeling position, couldn't really see, but as they've come up and begin to raise their weapons, my brain thought threat, and before I could move my hands myself, sort of thing, my hands were reacting to the weapon, and by the time they had got up to their sort of full standing position, my thumb had come down, wound the gun onto semi, and was beginning to bring the front of the weapon up. Now, I'm kind of thinking over this in real slow motion, but at the time it was almost instantaneous. It was just that my brain saw threat and my arms and body was, already reacting. It was very strange, but I really did notice it the first time it happened. As the guys had got their weapons up towards shooting us, there must have been maybe 6 or 7 BBs in the air heading towards them. Before they'd even got their guns up and on target, they were getting splattered with BBs, and the guys in front of me are just beginning to crouch. So it kind of goes to how quick this was happening, is that my sort of friends have just been like reacting to me like, Tim, what the hell are you doing? And I'm engaging. Now, a few of the guys that were there for this might even drop a comment in the box below, but it was the first time I'd noticed my training, or the training that I'd been doing, come into action. A few other times throughout the last few years, again, it's happened over and over and over. Some of the more complicated drills, you are less likely to have situations where it's going to come, where, for example, your primary is completely down, it's empty, you're out of rounds, and you go to a pistol. I see a lot of people doing these kind of drop primary drills and running a pistol out. The likelihood of that happening, in my opinion, is actually pretty rare. It's not often that I get completely depleted. I'm still in an actionable stage where I'm first off thinking about going to the pistol. My main concern is getting the primary back up, so I'm in cover, bombing up or whatever. Or, I'm pinching mags off a friend. So that kind of pistol draw scenario is rare. I've had a few of them where I've had to whip the pistol, but again, probably 1 or 2 times. On the other hand though, Richie, and Matt and a few of the other guys that I've been with have been in situations in front of me where they've gone for their pistol and dropped targets so quick, I'm just registering that they're going for their gun and it's out and they've dropped targets. So it is very relevant to go from primary to secondary, secondary to primary, re-spinning your mags. So whether you are an indexer, whether you're someone that's quite happy to drop your magazines. I am not a massive fan of dropping magazines. I am a massive fan of indexing. So whether it is, pulling that mag and doing a 45 swap and getting it back into index. The only case I see dropping mags is if there's someone right on top of me and I cannot go from a pistol and I need to re-spin a mag. In that case, I would drop the mag to the floor. Other than that, I would just go for the pistol. It's another kind of training mentality. Everyone's different and there's different thoughts and procedures on all of those processes, and they're very individual. You can watch 10 different trainers across the internet, some of the great ones that are out there, Instructor Zero, Lucas from T-Rex Arms, even some of the drills and stuff from the guys at Cherries. They all have a different opinion on this, and again, airsofters each have their own opinion as well. But I think the key thing that I'm trying to address here is that I don't feel like it should be looked on with any sort of shame. I think that if people want to drill, people want to go out there and they want to practice and they want to advance their skill set, people want to go out there and run their weapons manipulation, shooting in all different positions, whether that's prone, kneeling, crawling, whatever, doing awkward mag changes, going to your last mag, practicing that speed reload from the hip mag. I really don't see a big issue in it. And I think as individuals, we need to kind of look at that and say, is it going to benefit me? Am I going to be happier? Am I going to be able to react with that speed and efficiency if I don't run my drills? And I'm not saying that everyone should be out there, an hour a day practicing, but it's just definitely something to consider, that training is met with so much stigma of like, you're a stupid airsofter, why the hell are you training? Why do you want to run drills? Why do you want to be more efficient? Why do you want to be more performance orientated? And that comes down to individuals and, your thoughts on it. Me, I'm quite happy to train. I'm not bothered what people think about it. At the end of the day, it's not affecting their performance, it's affecting mine. Does it mean that I'm better than any other player on the field? No, of course not. But what it does mean is that there's certain instilled confidence in me that if I really do need to go for my weapon, or if I need to go for a change, that I can do it efficiently as possible without putting too much mind into it. The body is just reacting under muscle memory. So that's my thoughts on this, guys. Hopefully I haven't gone into too much detail here, but hopefully it makes sense as to what I'm trying to say. If you are interested in training, there is very, very few events out there that are not just being run for the sake of running a training event. I have not seen any particular events, especially in the airsoft community in the UK, that stand out to me as something that's being run for the education of players rather than just being run for the sake of running a training event. Now, I'm going to be looking into some other training events that are happening throughout the UK. We are looking to do our own training events that will be run by myself and Richie, but they will be co-hosted by some very special partners that are, very close to the Heresy group. If we can do that in the next sort of couple of months, then we will make sure that all of you guys know about it. It is a work in progress. The hardest thing that we are trying to get nailed down is actually a good location to do it. We want a large, open, concrete or gravel environment that is secluded from the public and that has parking and access and all those sorts of things. So if any of you guys know of anywhere like that, please let me know. If it's in the southeast of the UK, that's even better. We are pushing ahead with that. That will be something that's potentially coming. Again, this is not about being taught. It's not about you coming and replicating exactly what we do. It's us giving you a safe, comfortable environment for you to be able to do your training. This will be a no media event as well, so no GoPros running, no video, no cameras. This is about self-improvement. It's not about getting Gucci videos of the day. And essentially that is for everyone else as well as yourself. We want to make sure that, if things go wrong, people fall over, trip, drop guns, magazines, whatever, it's not caught on other people's cameras. People aren't worried about, what they're doing in front of other people. It's about the individual self-focus. It's about arriving and leaving feeling more confident, feeling more in tune with your kit, and feeling more comfortable in those emergency situations that you can perform when you need to. So that's my thoughts on training. That's a little bit about the event that we'd like to put on and how we would like to run it. It's very much focused around the individual. Again, thoughts, questions, comments, please put them in the comments box below. Sorry guys that this has been a long video. I really wanted to go into the detail on this. I get asked about it a ton. Lots and lots of new content coming to the channel. Please make sure you subscribe. You can do that by clicking in the bottom right hand corner of the video. Lots of reviews, lots of gear. Lots of stuff being sent out to us weekly, so please make sure you do check up on the channel. If you are subscribed, please make sure you click the little bell icon. We do a lot of live content. That means that you're going to get notified of when we go live and also of new videos coming to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all soon.